What's up, folks? This is Addy Ads. This is the Julian Assange podcast. A pretty big update, power move by Mexico and AMLO as they offer Julian Assange asylum. So uh, pretty big development there. And in this video from AMLO, he said, "We believe the United States government should act with humanity. Assange is sick." And he continues saying, and it would be a show of solidarity and fraternity. It would be a show of solidarity and fraternity to grant him asylum. And he asserts that they all had already offered Assange a pardon for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange from Trump when he was in office, but got no response. Wherever he'd choose to live, continues AMLO, referring to Assange, including Mexico. He said, before United States President Donald Trump's term was over, I sent him a letter, envié un escrito, asking for him uh, to exonerate and give a pardon to Julian Assange. As you know, when presidents in the United States end their terms, and AMLL speaks very slowly, they can exercise this right. He's talking about the right to grant a pardon. For those that don't know, AMLO is Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said he sought a pardon for Julian Assange from former United States President Donald Trump before he left office last year and repeated his offer of asylum on Monday. Last month, Australian-born Assange moved closer to facing criminal charges in the United States for one of the biggest leaks of classified information after Washington won an appeal over his extradition in an English court. U.S. authorities accused Assange of 18 counts relating to WikiLeaks' release of confidential U.S. military records and diplomatic cables, which they said had put lives in danger. Lopez Obrador reiterated the asylum offer he had made for Assange a year ago and said that before Trump was replaced as U.S. president by Joe Biden last January, he had written him a letter recommending that Assange be pardoned. Mexico did not receive a reply to the letter, Lopez Obrador told a regular government news conference. If granted asylum in Mexico, Assange would not be able to interfere in the affairs of other countries, and it would not represent any sort of threat, added the Mexican president. More hurdles remain before Assange could be sent to the United States after an odyssey which had taken him from teenage hacker in Melbourne to years holdup. Of course, they mentioned the fact that he hacked. Hold up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, then incarcerated in a max security prison. Supporters of Assange cast him as an anti-establishment hero who has been persecuted by the United States for exposing U.S. wrongdoing and double dealing across the world from Afghanistan and Iraq to Washington. And I mentioned the writer that I outed last time, who basically is a traitor to Assange and to freedom of the press, saying that he warrants his persecution as being legally justified, basically. Um, so this is a pretty big development, I would say, a power move by AMLO and Mexico, offering this asylum to Assange. But I would, hesitate to give too much trust in this because Assange is such a valuable prisoner to anyone, any government that were to retain custody of him. That's combined with the fact that the government of Mexico has in the past worked with the United States to get them criminals or people wanted for extradition or to be arrested in the United States, such as one Commander X. Commander X, who I'm going to cover, and the at least somebody who supports him followed me. I can't remember who it was, but I'm going to look into that because I don't know too much about that. But I do know that the Mexican government worked to basically kidnap him and then extradite him to the United States. But as far as the writer that I outed, I actually can't remember his name right now. But if you give me a second here, I can look it up. I released it on the Julian Assange podcast, which is available on Spreaker. I think I had a bit of difficulty transferring the podcast over via RSS feed to certain outlets for one reason or another. I'm not really sure why that happened, but I should have time to troubleshoot that today. His name is Brian Stewart. I actually can't remember which outlet he writes for, but yeah, his name is Brian Stewart, and one of those deep state shills and or useful idiot. Whether he's just dumb or simply a traitor, I couldn't tell you definitively. But a pretty big development there. Speaking of developments in the Assange saga, at least for me personally, someone recently reached out to me just yesterday about getting on a podcast, and then somebody else messaged me too, which I have to look into. So, and that would be to discuss Assange. So, be on the lookout for that. Stay frosty, folks. Please subscribe to me on Telegram in case I lose my Twitter. My Twitter has blown up since I've been covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So I have the biggest following I've ever had online over there. So I'm trying to take advantage of it. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, I'm at one addyads, one spelled out, and that is also my Telegram. My website is addyads.one. In case anyone wants to support me, the links are all there. Stay frosty. Talk soon, folks.